All right, so now let's take a closer look at these midterms. Let's bring in Julia Manchester, national politics reporter with our partners at The Hill. Julia, great to speak with you again. So let's talk about this decision to not use President Biden at big campaign rallies. Is it unique to this particular president, or is it a sign that maybe those big rallies don't necessarily work?
I think this is specific to any president that is going through their first midterm election, because we know that this midterm election, whether it is President Biden or President Trump in 2018, Barack Obama in 2010, the first midterm election is essentially a referendum on their first term in office. And we are seeing right now that, like President Trump, like President Obama in 2010 and other past presidents, Biden's poll numbers right now are very low and could potentially be lower than some former presidents. So it's understandable that a lot of candidates may not want to appear with him at some of these events. That being said, though, we are seeing Biden out on the trail, just not to the extent that maybe we're seeing President Trump on the trail. I will say, though, comparing Biden to President Trump right now is sort of like comparing apples to oranges in a way, because we know that President Trump himself is considering a 2024 bid. He's very much trying to kick off in campaign mode. Many of his rallies for these candidates are actually more about him, or they appear to be more about him than they are those other candidates, whereas Biden is, very much trying to find a way to boost these candidates while not getting too much in the way.
Not getting too much in the way there. So I want to zero in on what you just said. So we don't know whether or not he is going to be a candidate, right? But the former president, as you said, he still loves his rallies. He still attracts many supporters to them, not as many as when he was actually in office. But why do these rallies seem to be so successful for the former president and Republicans, but not as much for Democrats?
Well, for the former president, it's very much a signature of his campaign style. He loves these rallies. For the beginning of the Trump administration, during his first presidential campaign in 2016, news networks across the political spectrum, every media outlet was covering these rallies from start to finish. Now, they don't necessarily get aired the same way, and they don't get as much viewership, but this is very much a way for him to coalesce his base and really speak to his base, because we know that President Trump's hardcore supporters are absolutely watching these rallies. However, I would say that in other races down the ballot, such as Pennsylvania's Senate race, for example, we are seeing John Fetterman actually holding quite a few rallies right now. Earlier this week on Tuesday, he was in Butler County, Pennsylvania, very red, conservative-leaning county. His campaign saying that he got over 400 people to attend. And then, of course, earlier that last weekend on Saturday, he was in the suburbs of Philadelphia. So he's holding those rallies, where it seems like Dr. Mehmet Oz, on the other hand, is holding these more smaller, toned down events. He's going in, to the inner city of Philadelphia, for example, and other communities to talk about crime. So I don't think it's necessarily a Republican-Democratic divide. I think it all has to do with the candidate's particular strategy. But I will say this, Nichole, in the closing days of these midterm elections, we are going to see more rallies, because we do know that these rallies, in a way, are a way to get out the base and really draw attention to a particular campaign.
Absolutely. It's free advertising. Okay. Julia, thank you for that. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.